Herzlich willkommen und guten Abend zur Pirates Cove time. Yeah, it's Wednesday afternoon. Night. When do you start saying night?
When it's dark.
It's never dark in Tyrol because we are the brightest state of Austria. Welcome to the show. It's it's a nice week. It's good weather. It's bright outside, so we say good afternoon. And we are very happy to welcome Jay Liggins in the house, a new sheriff in town. There he is, our latest addition to our defensive backfield squad. Tonight's going to be a little bit different because Jay has some stuff to do. He has a meeting in about 15 minutes, so we skip the original schedule. How do you say? We changed the original schedule.
Making some adjustments.
We do some adjustments. We start directly with.
This is the best part of somebody's day.
What?
Read the last comment.
Finally, best part of the day, getting started.
Oh yeah.
Barakus.
Wow.
It's great that we make your days better.
That's nice, but I mean, it's sad at the same time.
Maybe you had a hard day of work.
Yeah. We're happy to enlighten you with an hour of nonsense.
Yeah. No, it's not nonsense.
It's very much nonsense.
But
we play a sport for a living.
So
Lucky.
we skip. We change the schedule. We start with the interview and Jay's story about football, and then we're gonna do the review and the preview and all the other stuff. First question of the night. How are you doing? How was your day, Sean?
Ooh, change it. You see what he did there? I'm doing very well, Paul. Thanks for asking. Very excited about this week. We're in a situation where we couldn't look ahead because we don't really have the opportunity to do so. But I think this matchup had been circled on everybody's calendar since the last game. It's exciting times.
Exciting times. Jay, now you're sorry for
No worries.
How was your day and how you doing?
I'm doing well. Day not very eventful. Just stretching, relaxing, staying loose. A little sore from last game, but feeling good. Just trying to stay cool.
Great. I see a smile on your face. How have the last 3 weeks been for you? Because you came late in the season to us. How are you feeling? How do you like the Raiders? How do you like your new living environment?
No, I'm enjoying it. It's a beautiful city. The guys have been pretty friendly to me. And then, I've got a little lost in town, but I've been trying to do a better job.
It's not a big town.
No, but I don't know, nothing. So but I'm enjoying myself, keeping myself busy the best I can at least.
Great. Before we continue, I want to say thank you to Bad Boy Öli and Helena for your subs. Thank you very much, and I want to say thank you to everybody who already tuned in. Jay, Jay is just your nickname, short name, or how you say short name?
Yeah.
Joe Malcolm.
Yes.
Is your full name?
Yes.
You're obviously from the United States of America.
Yo, correct.
You show some proudness about your home country.
You said it wrong.
How is it?
You forgot the A at the beginning.
You said
and
America.
It's not a U.
America.
It's a subsection of people that say it like that. That I don't think either of us subscribe to.
But from which state are you? From the States?
I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, but I currently live in North Dakota, Bismarck, North Dakota.
Bismarck, North Dakota. When it comes to your school, we might check it on Google Maps.
North Dakota, we have to.
Because this is the thing what we do with all our guests when they played in the States or lived longer at the college in the States. We check the towns.
Paul's very fascinated with the grid system,
and
then I just check to see what fast food restaurants you had in town.
Okay, well, see,
it's become a thing kind of organically. Here. It might be our only segment of the show. It's like, you went to college somewhere? Google Maps.
Yeah, let's find out.
But let's start at the beginning. You're from Memphis, Tennessee.
Correct.
Isn't Memphis the hometown, or at least the town where he died?
Elvis
Presley?
Correct. This is hometown.
It's also his hometown.
No, don't claim his hometown. His hometown was what? Something in Mississippi.
No.
He was born in Mississippi.
He doesn't claim Mississippi.
Isn't there a song?
Yeah.
Born in Mississippi?
I don't know.
No, he was born in some French-sounding town in Mississippi, starting with a J, and then he moved to Memphis to make it big, and then he appropriated black culture. Some would say.
Yeah, some would say
Because
he died out there for sure.
Yes.
I know that.
I've been to not Graceland. What is it? Graceland. His house and everything in Memphis. What's it called? I think it's Graceland.
Like his childhood home.
Yeah, like the home he bought when he was filthy rich. It's like a mansion.
I'm pretty sure he bought home in Memphis.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, okay, my fault. You was like the name.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, my bad. I was a little when I went.
It's
there.
Graceland, right? Like
I don't
in
know.
Memphis. I think it's.
But let's.
Side story. You brought up Elvis. We only have 15 minutes, so we'll get to you. No, one thing I was fascinated about, Jungle Room, crazy. This guy's insane. Secondly, he flew in Air Force One.
Great.
Like he was so.
rich.
I think he was popular. He just needed that much security.
But
wow.
what I wanted to say, because I discovered the United States a little bit when I was younger. I was in Memphis,
Did
and
you go to Graceland?
we were there. It was too expensive, the entrance.
Really?
So we went to the Martin Luther King,
The motel.
the motel, which was really impressive for me. I was 8 years old. So the balcony where he got shot when he had the speech. So Memphis, famous town, and now famous. I don't want to put you on the same stage as Martin Luther King, but another famous guy from Memphis.
Good company.
Good company, Jay Liggins. Jay, so you was born there. You went maybe to high school also in Memphis? Or?
No, I moved when I was like 12.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom just wanted to go somewhere safer. A lot of violence where the neighborhood I was at. So she just wanted to go somewhere safer. And then she chose North Dakota because we didn't know much about it, but she just knew she wanted to go. And one of my siblings was like, "Oh,
Why?
Mount Rushmore. Why we go to North Dakota?" I mean, truthfully, she said she wanted to go somewhere where a lot of white people were at. To like,
Well, she picked the right spot.
She
Then.
picked the right. Yeah, she was
Good
just like-
choice.
exactly. She's like, I need to change up, like, you know.
She wanted a safer environment for her kids.
Yep, exactly. And then we
Picked
like,
the coldest damn place there
yep,
is.
she did, and yeah, it was very unfortunate, but it's a great place, very safe place. So she did a very good job of that, and then got us away from a lot of violence that we were surrounded by. So I'm really thankful for that, and of course, life has been pretty well for me ever since. But so it's nice. It's very cold.
But
So cold.
it's also cold here. It's cold.
No, but
It's cold.
yeah.
So then you played high school football in North Dakota. Is it true, and I make the joke with everybody, that you started as left tackle?
No,
I found that on the
It
internet.
always hits. It always hits. Though. It's really good.
Sometimes it's center, sometimes.
Yeah, it's like it's usually a skill position player playing some offensive position.
No, you were fast at the beginning of your career already, right? And
not
you-
necessarily. I took me a little bit to get some athleticism. Like I was like I was like 5'10" as a sophomore. Then my junior year I was 6 foot. And not that equates like athleticism, but it just shows the growth and development that I needed. And then even in high school I wasn't that like I was pretty good at coverage, but I wasn't like good at football necessarily. And then when I got to college I really honed my skills and decided that I'm gonna be good at this.
But you played always on the defensive side of the ball.
I played both ways at first, and then I went strictly defense. And then when I got to college, I played strictly defense. And then my senior year and junior year, I played both ways again.
Okay.
I had a good joke, but I missed the window to tell the joke. But now I
Let's hear
still
it.
want
Let's
to tell
hear
the
it.
joke.
Do it.
So when you said you weren't that fast or anything, or like you weren't necessarily the greatest athlete at the beginning, you had to grow into yourself. I was gonna say, but I didn't want to interrupt. But now I'm taking more time. That not everybody can just wake
Yeah.
up and be
It's
Mr.
tough, yeah.
Mr. Hercules. Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
It's hard, yeah.
you have God gifted athletes,
Yeah.
and then you just have people that need to grow into it,
Exactly.
so.
You guys made it look so easy.
Yeah, I'm glad you reached our pinnacle.
Yo, I'm there. I'm trying. I'm still climbing. I'm still looking up a
Hey,
little
but
bit.
we're there. It's like, hey, Joey, what's up? I see you.
Shout-
Yeah. You're almost there, buddy.
But when you Google your name, you also find out about your athletic career outside of football, because you did also long jump and running, or
Triple jump and long jump.
triple jump, long jump, and sprinting, track and field, or how do you say that?
But you weren't necessarily. Your main thing was jumping.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. But yeah, so I was a track and field athlete, and that was where I was more skilled at coming out of high school at triple jump. I ended up setting like our state record for that, and then so I had some more offers for track, but I wanted to do both track and football. So I went to Dickinson State in a high school, and it's like 100 miles away from Bismarck.
Have you ever seen somebody triple jump?
Yes, Enno Martini, former
It's the
teammate,
craziest.
Yo, it is.
with the technique click.
You
yo,
have to
click,
be such
click,
a good
and then
athlete.
Yo, it messes up your knees. So
Yeah, sure.
yeah. So
But anytime anybody said, yeah, it was a triple jump, it's like,
oh, this guy's solid.
respect.
And we saw some of your jumping skills at the last game. You had some great plays against Cologne, where you deflected the balls and jumped high. So this power is still there, the jumping
Oh,
power.
of course. Not quite like you guys, but I'm up there. I'm almost there. But yeah, of course, yeah, still very much.
Nice. So you continued also at Dickinson State then your jumping career?
Yes. Yep.
Were there any point of your athlete life where you thought, okay, maybe I have to just concentrate on one side to maybe continue my sport after college career? Because there would also be the possibility to go into athleticism or for USA athletics, right? And then maybe
Professional track and field, professional.
Yeah.
jumping.
Well, so all through my college,
Athletics.
like I said, I was always like I always consider myself as like a football player who does track.
Okay.
And then I ended up qualifying for nationals for track first, and then I got All-American status as I got 10th place. I was like a sophomore, and I was like, I'm pretty good at this. And then I was just like, but I still consider myself a football player. So I was just like, I feel like it was never a time I was like, I'm just a track guy or a football player. But it was a time when I like realized like I'm an All-American talent. Like this is what I'm capable of doing on every aspect of my athletics. So when I got 10th place at track national, I was super proud of myself, but I was still like, I'm better at football and I'm not achieving the marks I need to do in football. So at that point, I was like, I need to like level up my game.
Yeah.
And then from that point, I was All-American in football the next year, then All-American again in All-American in track. And then my junior year, I just like decided like, it was strange because I had like a dream, like I was like in the NFL, I was just like, and it was just, so it's such a cheesy dream and so cheesy to think about, but it was just like at that point I woke up and I was like, you know what, like I'm that kind of guy, I'm going to go to the league and I'm going to beat my teammates in all the conditioning, all the sprints. I'm going to excel better than everyone, not because I'm better than everyone, just because I'm an NFL talent. And there's not guys here who are going to the NFL just because of the small school. So there was a point in my career when I was just like, you know what, like I have to carry myself this certain way because I'm this certain kind of athlete. But I never just picked one over the other until it got to the point where I was signed by the Eagles and I couldn't go back for track because for obvious reasons. Yep, exactly. So,
but you were one of the players or athletes coaches were looking for, right? The thing with multiple sports athlete is getting more and more and more, and maybe in the States it's really already a thing for a long time, but also now in Europe coaches are looking for these athletic talents who are maybe coming from jumping, sprinting, whatever.
At high school level though, I'm sure there was situations, and we even talked about it, that at the college level coaches don't always want you to do both. They want you to specialize.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like coming, especially in high school, they look for guys who can do it all because it shows your athleticism, and it shows like there's some guys who just do football or even like more sports like wrestling. Like you could be a great wrestler, but like you probably don't even know how to run. So it's just like as you get older, guys look for guys that are more not specialized, but just more overall. And you can do a lot more with a guy like that than a guy who's
foundation. Exactly.
Yep, exactly. Because I learned so much from being the track guy and the football guy. And I got on the field. There's obviously offensive linemen don't get the sprint mechanics, but there's guys who don't understand how to properly run because they've never been taught that. Like if you're fast, you're fast. So it's just.
I have an idea because your story is really interesting, and you have to leave now because I don't want to get Coach mad because you have a meeting. I would say we invite you again next week and continue the story.
Oh, for sure.
Part 1 and part 2.
Yes, let's do this because we didn't even touch everything, and I want to talk a little bit more about also these dual sports athletes and your story with All-American and how it came then to the league, and I think we need time for that.
I would say Elias has a question, but since Elias didn't vote for me for MVP, we can not answer it.
It's a question about where is Elias? It looks like his receiver was open, but then you deflect.
You have to tune in next week, Elias.
Yeah, we make a cut now. Jay has to leave us and comes back next week again, and then we continue. So they're gonna be part 2 with Jay Liggins. Jay, have a good meeting. See you at practice. You have to go.
Take care, guys. Thanks for having me.
So,
Ah,
alrighty. Can you move a little bit more?
whatever. Paul.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, Jay, thanks again. See you later.
See, buddy.
Okay.
I would assume so, Elias. I'm looking forward to that matchup a lot. I will get into it later, but a lot.
For everybody who just tuned in, Jay was here for 15 minutes for a short interview, telling a little bit about his story, high school, college, athlete career. But he has so much more to tell us, so we're gonna do a second part next week. But he has to leave for a meeting with his coach, and we don't want to cut the meeting because it's more important than our little Twitchy show, right?
Yeah,
So let's hope he don't have a meeting next week.
I was about to say.
Because then we have maybe a part 3 the week after. Let's see. We will see. No Google Maps. Outrage. Next week, Google Maps. For sure. For sure. We don't do it without him, huh?
No.
He has to tell the best restaurants.
But can you Google Elvis real quick?
Myself?
Yeah. He was born in Mississippi. Memphis claims him, but he moved to Memphis.
Wasn't he born in Germany? No, honestly, he was at least. He has German roots.
Delupio.
East
Yeah.
Tupelo, Mississippi.
I thought it started with a J.
But then he was in Germany as a U.S. Army base.
Yeah, but he didn't move to Germany. No, his dad wasn't in the army, was he?
But I think Elvis was in the army.
Elvis was in the army.
Yeah, and he was in Germany.
Yeah, but you said he was born in Germany.
I was thinking that it might be.
He was born in the U.S. Anyways.
Okay, so, yeah. Let's do the normal rhythm. The review about the last game. It was a win, which was good and important. Sieger.
That's funny how that's become a thing.
Yeah, because we don't do it anymore here, right?
Not really.
But Kevin is doing it in the hub.
Yeah.
So, really important win. Kind of a isn't the word gap game? Like no gap game? How you
Trap game.
trap game, where we could honestly only lose, and we finished it in a good way. We won that game, and yeah, Sean, how would you say how was the atmosphere in the locker room before the game? Because fans of people might maybe think we took it easy because Cologne was not that good depending on their record, but they beat us in week 2. So how was the moments before the game in the locker room and also at practice the weekdays before?
Yeah, I think everybody takes that game a little personal, especially when every game that we play, it's more of like a reminder that we would be in a much better position if that game had gone differently, right? If we had 2 losses instead of 3 losses at this point. And you could say the same thing about the first game too, if we would have finished that game. But yeah, you always take the second game against the opponent that you lost to the first game a little more seriously. But I think for the most part, it was a necessary step in the right direction, right? Like you talk about trap games. Well, Leipzig could have been a trap game coming off a loss. Stuttgart could have been as well. It's just doing what we need to do to put ourselves in a position for this weekend, right?
Yep.
And that's all these games were, and that's all it was. And we've been able to go out and handle ourselves pretty well in these games, and be able to rotate, which has been very important. Health has been something that's been our side for the most part all season. Obviously, we have some guys we wish were still on the field, but compared to last year or some other teams in the ELF this year, we've been relatively healthy. So, no, it's been good, but it was just going out there and doing what we should do against, in my opinion, inferior opponents and setting up this weekend.
Before we go into the stats and standings and all these things, there are some comments and questions. So Jan Weinreich, let's start with Elias' question there. Jan Weinreich said that it always looks like his receiver is open, but then you deflect the pass because of your close-up speed and your size. Is it your strength? What would you say? It was a question to Jay, and I was also impressed seeing that how the receiver often was Quinton Pounds looked open and then he either jumped or had this last step speed where he came with his hand between him and the ball and deflected these balls. And yeah.
No, he bursts and has these like really quick, but I've seen few people jump like Jamalcolm.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude just floats in the air. It's really, really impressive. And you saw that on the post down on the south side of the end zone on 4th and 5 or whatever it was. I mean, it it definitely looked like Quinton had a step or two on him, but the ball kind of floated in the air and Jamalcolm got vertical. And I mean, it's not a surprise that, or, you know, it's not surprising that he was a All-American in 2 sports.
Yeah. Uncle Charlie's saying or asking, isn't it wasting talent putting Schaffer at D tackle? He was the end at the highest level in the football world.
He played mainly 3-tech in college.
Yeah.
He did play some 5-tech, but he would even claim that his natural position is 3-tech. So no. And personally, I think a disruptive 3-tech is an offense's nightmare. You can handle a 5-tech. There's things you can do.
Going into the pocket.
You can step up in the pocket. Like if you watch the Berlin game, you know, with Kyle Kitchens, you can step up in the pocket. You can change the rush angles. You can chip with a running back. There's not a ton you can do with a 3-tech that's dominating. And so no, I think because that's the position he's comfortable with, and in my opinion, the most disruptive position you can have, like a dominant nose guard or a dominant 3-tech, a nose guard in a 30 front, a 3-tech in a 40 front,
can cause a lot of damage.
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah. So Jan Weinreich said in his Game Day podcast that every ELF fan needs to come to Innsbruck and stays a couple days and watch a Raiders game. That's really nice from Jan. I think we have a beautiful scenery here in Tyrol with the stadium close to the mountains, and it's really cool to say that doesn't matter how the game ended, but every opponent after the game, you see often the players coming out after a shower taking pictures in the stadium because it's so impressive with these high mountains behind the stadium. And of course, Innsbruck and Tyrol is a beautiful place in Europe, and we invite everybody to come here and watch a game and be around the Raiders. And thanks Jan for your nice words in your podcast. So let's go into the highlights before we watch the stats. There we go. It was also great, and thank you to the Raiders fans. It was a good filled stadium at that day. It was the last home game, and it was cool to have so many guys in the stadium. And yeah, it was again like the week before, a quick start for our offense, which was the goal.
I know we went 3 and out on the first drive, I think, which was disappointing, but then we scored on the next 2. But you always want to get points on that first drive.
Niklas Gustav had a good game again. I think 2 sacks plus 2 and a 2.5 tackles for loss. Defense hold them at their first drive, and again, great returning game also by CJ. I was hoping he gets another return touchdown. It was close at the first.
But the amount of yards that he's racked up in the return game is something that we were really, really missing. It's been, our field position has been night and day.
Yeah.
Since he's joined the team, and now we're starting to get him going a little bit more on offense too. With, you know, Stuttgart, he had a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. This week he had a rushing touchdown and a rushing touchdown called back, and still was a threat in the receiving game as well. So, no, he's been a great addition to the team.
Yannick Meyer, great performance.
Awesome.
Yeah. And which brings me to the post of today on our social media channels, where we said thank you, or how you say, to our offensive line, because they gave you not only at that game a ton of time to pass the ball, and it's not only maybe me, also a lot of other people maybe think that this is the best offensive line in the league.
It is.
And for you, it's your insurance on one side, but it's also fun because you can concentrate on the important things, on throwing and reading the defense, right? So again, thank you and thumbs up to our offensive line. Great performance this year, and obviously also to Coach Dominic Bauer, who was already a guest in that show. So if you want to hear something about the Raiders offensive line philosophy, go on YouTube and search for the show with Dominic.
Exactly. Hey, there's something about our DBs and linebackers that when they catch a pick, they don't know what direction to go.
Yeah.
We need to work on that.
We're gonna pick up all these questions after it, so let's go a little bit more into the highlights now. Punt fake for a new first down. Philipp Fleisch, longtime Raider. Not the most flashy one, but when it comes to an important play, Philipp is there.
Yes. These little crossing routes to Yannick was just instant offense. I think there's another one coming right here. And it just, when a team comes out and wants to play man against us, which not a lot of teams have done this year because it's hard to do. You need to have the personnel to be able to do it. But like Berlin came out and had some success doing it against us in the last game. If we can take advantage of it, I don't think there's going to be a coverage that can really take everything away against us if we have the time to be able to go through it.
Yeah.
So that was great to see that, some of these easier completions were going for bigger yards, and that's what Yannick brings. Along with Marco on that out touchdown. And then, of course, he can do this too. That should have been a touchdown. That ball slipped out of my hand.
That's why he was
freaking Jan plays with the oldest balls in the world. I should have said something to him after the game or even before the game. Like, these balls looked like they're from 2017.
Cologne or what?
Yeah. And then when they're the same balls, they rotate them through.
Yeah.
So it was like, as soon as I got the ball,
there was a bad ball by Jan.
I'm not sure who he was throwing to there though.
No, it was like more in. Oh, hopefully somebody gets it ball, but great defense by Jay there. Ooh.
Good hit.
Good
hit. Good nice throw. A nice catch.
Yeah.
Playing slot receiver is a little bit different than playing outside receiver.
You get more contact inside.
You get more contact, exactly.
There's the rushing touchdown by CJ. Nice stretch play.
And like I said, I can't remember if it was before or after, but he had another touchdown. Get called back for holding.
Hey, Silent Raider, if it's your birthday, happy birthday. Enjoy your time. Drink a beer. Have a good dinner.
Yes, happy birthday.
Then a great drive, I think, before the first half ended.
4 plays in 39 seconds to get a touchdown.
And good time management, good placement of the players stepping out of bounds. And then here, good fight for the ball because the result would be maybe 3 seconds on the clock, timeout and field goal. And there we had the chance to score again. Really nice. And then I don't want to get too negative, but similar to the week before, we couldn't hold the speed in the second half. When you mentioned it already, we started rotating, but also with single players getting subbed in and subbed out, we should be able to maintain this high energy offense, right?
Yeah, and actually the defense as well. This week wasn't as good as they were in the second half last week, and I think it's just really tough to do. Like, we have a young team, and that takes a lot of maturity and camaraderie and just a lot of a certain culture to be able to do that. And we've been, I think, in the last 3 games, we've had no less than 35 at halftime. Leipzig was 33, 32, I think.
We scored.
Yeah, I think Leipzig was 32. Stuttgart was so we've been in the 30s for the last 3 games in the first half. So we come out and we start half. We understand the game plan. We execute the game plan well. But in the second half, we seem to take our foot off the gas a little bit, even though we don't want to. It's just maybe it's 90% instead of 100. And in this league, the teams are too good to do that. You're not going to be able to score as effortlessly as you were, or hold them as confidently as you were if you take even a couple percentage points off the energy or the focus or the concentration or the execution. So, yeah, it's something that it's like, man, I wish we wouldn't do that, but it's a pretty good problem to have on the other side.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you score 40 points in the first half, the opponent can also score 40 points in the second half if it's 40-0. So you can't really, should never have the thinking, I already won the game at halftime. But
it's not that we played poorly in the second half.
Exactly.
It's just not, there's obviously a drop off, and that's what's, it's always annoying when something doesn't happen to the potential of which it could happen.
Yeah.
And that should be the goal, right?
Yeah. So, because of that, Cologne had the chance to score 3 times, and also had some turnovers, forced some turnovers, and brought them back a little bit into good field position. And at the end it was 45-20, because I think this drive ends in another touchdown for Cologne. Yeah. So and there's, I think, the touchdown. And the 2-point conversion wasn't successful, and then the final score was 20-45. A win is a win, and it's obviously really important for us because it keeps us on the 4th spot of the standings, of the 4th in total, 2nd in our division. So we are still in the playoffs now with 7 wins, 3 losses. And let's quickly check the other results of that game day, because there was
Those aren't right.
Huh?
Some of them aren't right.
There's a mistake. I think it's 22.
Cologne,
the second number is missing. But there's only one I want to mention a little bit, was the Frankfurt Rheinfire game.
Yeah, both 20. Okay.
Which ended in a dramatic way. I mean, really, congratulations to the Rheinfire organization, getting 12,000 and plus people in the stadium, and then having this miracle game where you can end a game like this with a game-winning field goal last second. So it was cool to watch the highlights, and it keeps the league really, really cool, because for games like that, you fans maybe watch all this because you want to see these close games.
No, that's what the commissioner should be thrilled. Obviously, the snap fumble leading up, like you wished it was cleaner football, but that stuff can happen. That happens in the NFL. I remember watching a Super Bowl, and the first touchdown of the game was a snap fumble of Peyton Manning, and Von Miller recovers it or something. The Broncos recovered it, or vice versa. He was a Bronco. Doesn't matter. And so you would obviously, in a professional league, not like to see some of the mistakes, but that happens. But the drama and the excitement, and that's what a TV show is, right?
Yeah.
And ultimately,
the league is a show.
Professional leagues are TV shows.
Yeah.
And he's got to be thrilled in comparison to some of the other games that have been uninteresting in the second half. So,
no, really cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
The stats of that game are rushing rights. We didn't need it to rush the ball that often. The Cologne defense gave us the opportunity to pass the ball a little bit more.
Cologne is really good in the box too.
Yeah, of course.
The nose guard, I believe his name was Chris Richardson, and Amour in '97. I forget his last name. Sorry about that, but they have big box players.
Yeah, but one statistic thing we already saw in the highlights was Yannick Meyer's performance with 10 catches, over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, especially these deep balls in coverage were great catches, and he was the leading receiver at that game. Also cool to see that Lucas Fink, who got a hard hit the week before, came back strong. wasn't injured at the end, which was really lucky for us because he's an important role player, also with 5 catches. And great performance, I think, by the offensive side.
Yep.
And on the defensive side, somebody mentioned it in the chat. Jay only had 0 tackles, but 60 breakups, deflections, which is also a good sign because he never had to tackle because he already deflected the ball.
Yeah.
And he wasn't in position to run all over the field to make a tackle. But for a defensive back to have 0 tackles is nothing bad.
Especially a corner.
Yeah.
I mean, their main responsibility is pass defense. So
and not run support.
Yeah. I mean, it would also be a good game if he had 0 pass breakups and never got a target thrown at him because he was on his guy the entire time. So stats for corners are a bit deceiving, I think.
Okay. Let's go into the questions. We got a lot of comments and questions while we were talking. So, how integrated are the new players already? Do you have a ritual to welcome new players to the team? Sean, it's a little bit more you because you with the team more than yourself.
At the beginning of the season, we always do something to kind of break the ice. It's kind of like a get to know you, get guys out of their comfort zone a little bit. But in season, you don't really get the opportunity. So, with CJ and Jamalcolm adding mid-season, you don't get that camp process of getting to know them better. But I would say, even though that's the scenario, both are pretty heavily integrated in the team already. Particularly in the position groups, like maybe a D tackle doesn't know CJ that well, or an offensive lineman knows Jamalcolm that much. But the position groups, they're very, very well integrated and probably on their side of the ball as well.
Same with Thomas Lang at Ecker, Eliabe,
Exactly.
Philipp Löffelberger in their groups, and especially now when it comes to these longer away trips.
And the Schaffenator as well.
Schaffer, of course, Buffett.
Yeah, so in your position groups, you're just with them all the time, right? And there's not a ton of cross interaction like there is at the beginning of the season, but you can tell on film and when they make a play and what happens that I think they're pretty tight knit with their groups already, and I can say that that's the case for Chuka.
Then there were 2 comments about the spectators and the game day experience. Uncle Charlie, a lot of respect, and we really appreciated that you travel over 1,100 kilometers to our games. Thank you for that. It's cool to have fans coming also from longer distance, and this makes it all worth it because we don't do it for ourselves, we do it for the whole thing, and you fans are a big part of it. Speaking about seats in the home games, have the Raiders expected more or less visitors? Vikings expected an average of 4,000 to 6,000, and they are around 3,000. For us, it was really hard to to calculate that, because we had in the past games where we had these 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 spectators, and we had games without that many people in the stadium, and we really got scheduled bad dates this season. We had 3 home games where a holiday was either on a Thursday, Friday, or Monday before or after that game. So, which is really typical in Tyrol. When you have these holidays, people are going to Italy for a couple of days. They're going to Gardasee. And this hurts us. This hurts us because then, of course, their family time is more important for some maybe than a Raiders game, which is not a problem. But this hurts us, and we feel that. So some numbers were maybe for us a little bit too low as we hoped before the season. But overall, we are really happy, and of course, more is always better.
The one thing I will say in comparison to the last years, there hasn't been a dip game. Even the weekends that there was a long weekend and a holiday weekend, or maybe an uninteresting or less interesting opponent than others. We've always had a strong turnout. There hasn't been really a down game, which has been great to see, because that was the case. That was the case kind of before, when a lower level AFL team came to the stadium, you could tell it was less interesting for the fans. And it seems like these games are consistently interesting for the fans, which is really was a goal of the organization, is bring the fans something new, right? Yeah. And so they've responded as such, even with not the greatest scheduling like you had talked about. So I've been, as a player, I've been pleasantly surprised and very happy. And there's never been a game where it's like, oh, I thought it's like, oh, hey, they showed up again.
Yeah, and it looks like that the divisions are not going to be the same next year because there are already 4 teams added to the league. Also, teams which are close to us, like Munich or Milan
And the
and Zurich.
non-conference is always
So
gonna
next
switch.
year, also new teams, and that's going to keep
Which
the
is,
hype up.
exactly, which is what a federation can't really
And,
provide.
exactly, and yeah, we will see how next year when our home games are. But I would love to have, for example, the Frankfurt game now at home, because like a game against a strong opponent from your division where you decide who
Well,
makes
and the Berlin
playoffs.
game, it's advantageous to play them at home at first to get those wins that were important, because at that time we desperately needed wins. Still do, actually. But yeah, to have back-to-back road games to kind of decide fate, you wish it was at home for the fans and for the advantage.
Apropos Yannick Meyer, seems like suffered from an injury during last game. Any updates on that? Like in the past, we will not comment any injuries about our players, either if they are out or not. It would be kind of strategically not the smartest. And yeah, wait for Sunday if you see him on the field or not. And sorry that we can't give you there a clear answer. Tim was also a bit surprised that Weinreich was faster than
Me too.
he was on the interception.
He had a good angle.
He had a good angle, and Tim then came to the sideline and approached our athletic coach and said, "Hey, Andy, I need to get faster. We need to work on my 40 speed, because everybody was already rooting. Yeah, let's go. And then Jan came from the side and tackled him.
He had a good angle.
Also, Jan is a good athlete.
Sure, but it was also one of those throws where as soon as he threw it, I think he knew. So
And
it's
then
kind of like and
okay.
he took off early before Tim could even maybe catch it.
See, win is a win. Raiders, 45-20. Oimbubi, you know how I mean it. By the way, Oimbubi is also in our Discord channel, and if you guys want to join our Discord channel, just write in the chat I can't say this word. How you say
Exclamation mark.
Exclamation mark Discord. You also see these comments always in our show title. Yeah, if we have commands, then it's always like with an exclamation mark and then the word. There's also, I think, YouTube is active, and then if you write it in the chat, the link comes up and you can join our Discord channel. You can ask questions there, and it's a really cool thing to also connect you guys with each other. Balu, ist die Raiders O-Line die beste der Liga, eurer Meinung nach? We talked about it a little bit already, and I would say yes. It's maybe because I was a former offensive lineman for the Raiders, but in a lot of situations, our offensive line looks really impressive. They are maybe, which is also not our game plan, like this power running offensive where you just hit the ball in the middle, but how they protect Sean, how they handle also difficult situations looks really mature, and they are all great guys. They are all hardworking athletes. They go to the gym every time they can do it. They work on their techniques every time with Coach Bauer. So impressive unit this year.
Yeah, I think the biggest testament to them too is how well balanced they are. I think they're probably the best pass. I think they're the best pass blocking O-lineman or O-line by quite a bit of margin, actually. But also, I think they're only second to Hamburg in terms of running and being able to, yards before contact for running backs and yards per game. And it's not the easiest thing to quantify the performance of an entire O-line, but they're. I think the last time I remember it, and even talking to Coach Bauer about it, they're far and away the best pass blocking O-line and second only to Hamburg in run blocking. And maybe that's changed for the last close week, but they're playing phenomenal at the moment.
Yeah. Barakus, offensive lineman Michael Habertin had this kind of cherished moment that was dedicated to him, but still, what was the reason? I hope that wasn't his farewell game at Tivoli. Of course you can.
Thank you. I'm not going to speak for Hab. It's his decision, of course, whether it's a fair. What I will say is it was probably very long overdue. Habertin is by far the best football player I've ever played with, and it's not close. Nobody's over my, what is this, my 7th season? My 7 years as a Raider, I've never seen somebody do their job better consistently
on any position
than Michael Habertin. And it was just a situation in a type of game where we thought like, hey, this is a situation that maybe we can honor somebody that actively avoids the spotlight, to be honest. It really makes him uncomfortable. He doesn't like it.
We would never invite him to the show.
No, he doesn't like it. But he deserves all the credit in the world, and he's been a staple of this club for over a decade.
Oh, longer, yeah.
I mean, he was a veteran when I got here in 15.
Yeah, he started maybe in 2002 or something.
But I'm saying even with the men's.
2006 or 7, he had his first game with 16 years. Yeah, he's born 1990. No,
91.
91. So, yes, he had his first game with 16. He started as left tackle in the Euro Bowl final.
So 07.
Yeah.
So
15 seasons.
15 seasons, he's been a staple of the Raiders offense, and people like that deserve to be honored.
Yeah. So if you guys check the voting for the All-Star team, give him a vote on the offensive line votings. He deserves this. Yeah, that's it from the last game, which brings us to the upcoming game, Frankfurt week. Yeah, exciting times, exciting opponent, exciting game day in front of us. Stadium gonna be full. There are maybe approximately 6, 7, 8,000 people in Frankfurt. If you have a chance to cheer for us, come there and be loud and proud, because the Frankfurt purple hell, how they call it, gonna be loud, and we need every support. We played them already this year at home. We had the chance to beat them, and which gives us a little bit of experience how it is to play them and beat them. But this is weeks ago. Now, how is the situation right now? What are we expecting this weekend, this Sunday?
I think from an X's and O's standpoint and on the field, I think both teams probably have a pretty good idea of what to expect. They do what they do, and they do it well, and we do what we do, and we do it well. So I'm sure the coaching staffs are going to be able to put together excellent game plans against each other, and it's going to come down to execution. I think what the bigger factor is, at least in our side, is being able to go into that environment and still execute at a really high level, and that's going to be I don't want to say a bigger challenge, but equally challenging. A home field advantage in this league is probably more important than any league that we've ever been a part of since my tenure as the Raiders, at least. And this is going to be a big challenge. But really, it's a big boy game.
Yeah.
Put on your big boy pants, because it's going to be a big boy game, and I think everybody has that mindset and that approach, and we just got to prepare properly.
I always ask the offensive players, and when we have a defensive guest, I talk about the offensive strengths. But what is their defensive strength? What would you say after watching game?
Well, first of all, I think when you're evaluating a defense and deciding how good of a defense is, or trying to evaluate the unit as a whole, you try to see how much energy they play with, right? Do they run to the ball? Do they gang tackle? Do they do all these things? And this defense plays with a ton of energy, and that, I don't want to say it's half the battle, but as an offensive player to defense, like AJ Ventland doesn't have 197,000 tackles this year because he's not energetic. You know what I mean? When you run to the ball and you have multiple people running the ball, it makes things difficult. But from a personnel standpoint, they made the strategic decision to bring in 2 American defensive back imports, and both are good players. They earn their paycheck. I can assure you that, and so that allows them to be a little more aggressive in some situations allows them to push coverage to the trips because they're confident that their guy can lock up a single receiver, similar to what we've done in the past with our high performing DBs as well. And that poses issues, that makes windows smaller, obviously. And then in the box, they have good box players. They have good linebackers. They're all really, really good at what they do. There's not necessarily a standout like an AJ or like Zachary Blair, somebody from Istanbul. They're all just really good at what they do. And you could say this defensive line is the same. They have big bodies that know how to play football. And they're veterans, their experience. And all that stuff matters. They've been playing with each other for a while. They won a championship.
They're the reigning champion.
They're the reigning champions from last year, which people forget. Don't let the 6-4 record confuse you. They can go out and beat up on an undefeated Vienna any day of the week. Yeah. The thing with them is they can also struggle and barely beat Stuttgart. So I think that's their biggest thing is like they've been a bit inconsistent, but you can bet your ass that they're going to be up for this game.
Yeah. So a big game is coming up, and at the end, it's always the same. We have to play mistake-free on all sides of the ball, and at the end, the better team wins. And we got the question how, with these rankings, I think, Balu, that is your question, with the direct matchups, how this is at the moment, how I understand it, because it's not easy to understand, I think. We are in the playoffs because we are the best.
Not anymore. We have the best record now.
We have the best record. Exactly. Yeah. We are the best record team.
We're the best second place team.
So, if we now lose to Frankfurt by less than 6 points, because we beat them by 6 in the first game.
Correct.
We would be still in front of them, but then we would have the same record, like 7-4. Frankfurt would have 7-4, and
presumably 4 teams with 4 losses, depending on their games.
Exactly, yeah. And if Berlin and also Rheinfire wins their games this weekend, they would be also 7-4, and then direct matchups don't matter anymore, and then it comes to the total point differential.
Okay.
This is how I understood it, but please don't not 100%. I think this is this way. So also, if we lose the game with more than 6 points, the game the week after against Berlin gonna be really, really important. And the only way where we can avoid all these mathematics things is to win all. Exactly. And that would be the easiest. Yeah. So when we win the game, we stay on the best second ranked team from all divisions. We can't get to seed 1 anymore. That's over. Vienna, Barcelona, and Hamburg clinched the division titles.
Right.
But
we can get the 3rd seed in the playoffs.
We can get the 3rd seed in the playoffs. Exactly. So this weekend gonna maybe make the whole picture a little bit clearer for everybody. Mm-hmm. And then we're gonna talk about it obviously again next week. Mm-hmm. We are coming to an end, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to thank you again, and I want to pick up a question from our Discord channel, because you guys can ask questions in there, which we're gonna pick up then at the week. And Oimbubi, I'm really sorry to tell you again, I couldn't finish this topic yet. The online shop topic is still one which is not completed. And I know I tell you every week, next week, but guys, you can't imagine how much work is in a game week, also if we don't have home games. And please forgive me. I hope I can give you one day the good answer that we're gonna go online, but not for now. Sorry for that. But keep asking, keep pushing us. It motivates me also, because I know if we go online, Oimbubi, you might be the first person who orders something. And of course, we're gonna have a special. If we go online, we're gonna have a special, and then you get your 10% off or even more. I give you a discount, of course. Thanks for watching. And we still do the song of the day.
Sure.
Because even without Jay, we both can at least add songs. Do you have one, dear Sean Shelton? Or should I wait?
What song stuck in my head at the moment? A lot of Disney animated songs, to be honest. Because we had this conversation in the office the other week. I'm going to go with a country song.
With a country song?
Yeah.
Von Elvis Presley?
He wasn't country. Ooh, but we should do an Elvis song. What's your favorite Elvis song?
Oinbubi says Born in the USA from Elvis.
Right, but that's a Bruce Springsteen song. I just screwed it up.
Okay.
One of my favorite Elvis songs is not appropriate in today's culture. So let's go Hound Dog.
Hound?
Not hound like Philip Hound. Hound.
Hound.
Hound like a dog. You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
This
Da,
one.
da, 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 da. Now we're really diverse. We have Elvis and DJ Ötzi in the same playlist.
Let me go. I go with Olli Schulz. Wenn es gut ist.
You know how many songs I've known that you've put in?
None?
Maybe none.
That
Maybe not a single one. Every time you put in a song, you're like, nope, I have no idea what that song is. We have very, very different musical tastes.
Yeah, but
Which makes a very good playlist.
Exactly. So if you didn't,
If you ever need to drive from Lisbon to Moscow,
no, it's
this
not that long.
playlist.
It's 6 hours 38 minutes. Check it out. It's the best playlist in the world. People say.
Yeah, that voice is multi-talented.
Yeah, we're
gonna do a karaoke now.
okay. Yeah, maybe.
If you wanna break the internet.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it was a nice show. Next week again with Jay Liggins, because we couldn't finish his whole football story. Part 2. We hopefully gonna enjoy watching a highlight video of a winning Raiders game against Frankfurt.
Would be nice.
If you have the chance, come to the stadium. If not, watch it. It's gonna be in Germany, I think, the live TV game, and of course in the Game Pass you can watch it, and of course in Austria you can watch it on Pulse 24. So there's no chance to not watch it. Support us on all channels. We check it out. We love it. We like it. Our guys love it. The players needs it. And thanks for tuning in. Sean, your last words.
Exciting times.
Thank you. Macht's es gut. Bis bald. Ciao, Kakao. Bleibt gesund. Es war uns eine Ehre. Ciao dabei.